We sat down with Dr. Keti Tokamanova, and Doctor, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She is the doctor on site at the current World Junior and Sub-Junior Championships under the IPF in Malta. She is an orthopedic surgeon and also an associate professor at the Medical University in Plovdiv. We chat about powerlifting through the eyes of someone seeing it for the first time, how her views on the sport have changed in terms of its safety and its benefit, with a particular view to younger lifters. This is a great short conversation that is ideal for young kids thinking about getting into the sport, and in particular parents of youth who are concerned about their children wanting to start the sport of powerlifting. And we chat about its incredible benefits and values. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, the powerlifting edition. We are chatting to Dr. Keti Tokamanova. How close did I come to getting that right, Doc?
Very close. Thank you.
All right. So, Doctor, thank you so much for your time. You're in Malta now at the World Sub Juniors
Right.
and Juniors Championships, and you
Right.
are the competition doctor.
Right.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also what is the role of the doctor at a competition?
Okay. So I'm originally from Bulgaria. I'm an orthopedic surgeon in Bulgaria and also an associate professor at the Medical University in Plovdiv.
Right.
Um, this is my first time at such competition and my first encounter with powerlifting. So it was really interesting. And thanks God, the role of the doctor in this competition is not so big. I mean, there are no major traumas up to now, just minor injuries, which
Mhm.
are part of the game, of course.
Yes.
And my role is very limited, but it could be bigger, of course, and I hope it won't.
Yes.
And if something happens, of course, I have to secure first aid. I have to do whatever possible on place. And then we can direct the patients, the sportsmen who will be patients at that time, to the nearest hospital where they can get proper care. This
Right.
is the role of the
R-
doctor.
Okay. So I remember from, I think it was World Bench Press Championships in Sun City last year. The main role of the doctor seemed to be addressing sunburn and spider bites. There were one or two, and
Ah,
muscle
yeah.
strains. So thank goodness it wasn't anything too serious. And I think that's also what's great about the sport. The at this level, the athletes are very professional, the coaches are very
Yes.
professional, and the spotters and loaders are absolutely fantastic. The
Yes,
support staff.
exactly.
Right. So
Yes,
so
exactly.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing with powerlifting? So you've got sort of new eyes to the sport. Can you tell us sort of what you think, what you're seeing?
I it's very interesting for me. In the beginning, it's a little bit, you get into this lighted room. There are people who are lifting very heavy weights. And of course, I was impressed by the girls as well because they're awesome. They're doing a great job. And then gradually, when you start understanding the sport, you realize that it's not so, it is an extreme sport, but
Mm,
there is some logic in it. Everyone seems to know the limits of his abilities, and everyone tries to get the maximum of what he can do. So I'm really impressed, and I don't think I would ever practice this sport myself, but I really understand it now. I'm starting to understand it
mhm.
now, and I'm starting to kind of like it.
That's fantastic. So how did you get involved in this competition and in the sport?
I have a good tutor of mine who is a friend of mine as well, Dr. Josephine Ape from Hong Kong. And
Yes.
she was the person we worked together. I was her fellow in Hong Kong. And then we worked together for 6 months there. And then later on, she came to Bulgaria for a conference, and that is where she proposed that I might get involved in this job if I want. So I said, why not? And this is how it happened, in fact. And this is how I'm in Malta now.
Oh, fantastic. Is this something that you would like to do more, sort of there are more competitions coming to Europe, or even to travel?
Yeah. Yes, why not? I'm interested now. It's interesting. It's amusing, and
Hmm.
it's fun even to watch it. And of course, it's a professional challenge in case something happens, of
Yes,
course. But I hope
absolutely.
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
Really hope it
Yeah.
doesn't.
I think, there've been so few injuries in sport, in powerlifting. It's one of the safest sports just because of all of the
Mm,
controls that are in place. Even safer
yes,
to an
yes,
extent than Olympic weightlifting, because the
yes,
movements are very, very controlled, as well as with
yeah,
weightlifting. But I think with weightlifting, rolling out through CrossFit as an example, to so many other, so many more people are doing it, there seems to be less control and it's far more technical. With powerlifting, we call it sort of the dumb lifts. They're very simple to learn, and then at the more professional level, it's a natural movement. So definitely a safe sport to do. Doc, I wanted to ask
yeah.
you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a lot of professional weightlifters in Bulgaria. Bulgaria
Yes.
is famous for weightlifting, so I know more about it anyway.
So I think Bulgaria is famous for the School of Greatness, right? For beating Russia in the
Yes,
Olympics because of the small size
yes.
and absolutely dominating weightlifting.
Yeah, it used
Yeah,
to be like this.
yeah.
Now they're having a little bit trouble, but they're
Ah,
coming back into business
okay, good.
again.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I think also that's the thing with many sports. When you have a very strong personality, such as the Bulgarian national coach driving it, and as the force
yeah,
behind it, that's when the sports can
yeah,
grow. So this is what we need
yeah,
with the individuals coming forward. Absolutely. Watched
yes,
the wonderful documentary called The School of Greatness, and it was incredible to see the work
yes.
ethic. He really showed the world that if you think you're working hard, you're not working hard. So with
Exactly,
with the
exactly.
level that the athletes were training at. I wanted to talk to you about with the girls and seeing the young girls lift and lifting such incredible weight. What do you think it means to them, and what does it mean to you to see how strong young ladies actually are?
You know, my first impression was a little bit shocked because, from orthopedic point of view,
Mm,
the growing, not only girl, the growing person shouldn't be exposed to such big weights. But gradually, when I look at the sport, I realize that it's about the technique.
yes,
They know exactly what they're doing. So in this case, it seems to become logical. I mean,
right.
they're being trained. They have built the muscle mass whenever they need it, and they're using it properly. So the simple fact that there is no trauma, that
Mm,
they are developed wonderfully, means that it's okay. It's
right.
okay, and it's not a dangerous sport. Now I think so. In the
Yeah.
beginning, I didn't think so. I
You know,
admit.
and exactly what you're saying is such an important point, because when we dealing with parents that are coming into the sport, there are tremendous concerns about, will this not um, stunt my child's growth? Will it damage growth plates? And what we're trying
Mm,
to explain to the parents is you're under load for maybe 30, 40 seconds in an entire training session. And in relation to body weight, to the weight that's been lifting, jumping from a height, so particularly for young boys, jumping off a meter
right.
or 2 meters, landing with 2 to 3 times body weight, that's more of a risk for damaging growth plates and so on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Agree. I agree.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing, as you said, is finding the correct coach, working with an accredited coach, and making sure you stay safe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's otherwise it's really. back.
But yeah, for myself, I mean, I have scoliosis, I have Schroman's disease in my back, and I have a compression at L4, L5. Not from training. I did a lot of fighting in my youth, and so dislocated right hip, torn transverse lateral ligament in my. Everything is injured
So
pretty
you have
much. So
post-traumatic complications.
yep.
Yeah.
And what I found is with the lifting, and if I'm consistently lifting weight to, let's say, 30 to 50% of my maximum capacity, then I'm able to move much better. Stretching before lifting the weight and stretching afterwards.
It's all
So,
about warming up
yes,
before starting to train anything, not
yes,
about weightlifting or powerlifting only.
absolutely. So, Doc, in your mind, are you seeing powerlifting as a safer sport now for people to do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. After 3 days being
Mm.
here for 14 hours a day and
Wow.
watching it all the time, I realized that if you do it properly, it's a safe sport. The very fact that we have no trauma proves it. And
Yes.
these boys and girls, they're working at the maximum of their limits. So, this
We've
is the
seen,
proof, I think.
yes, we've seen 70-kilogram athletes squatting over 200 kilos. It's absolutely
Yes,
incredible. You know, that's
yes.
that's something I like to tell some of our clients that train in the gym. So just remember, somewhere in China or somewhere in Eastern Europe, there's a little girl warming up with your maximum.
Mm, probably,
Absolutely,
probably,
for
probably.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sort of that, and it's not a question we have to answer. We could edit it out. You are not really interested or looking at getting involved in the sport of powerlifting. If I could sort of ask why, and then are there sports that you're involved in?
I'm playing tennis, and
Okay.
of course, I'm doing some skiing. But
Okay.
powerlifting, I don't think I have to. I'll start a new sport now at
Mm,
this phase.
right.
So, but I would love to get involved as a doctor, which is a
Absolutely.
different thing.
100%. But it's something that's
Yeah,
absolutely vital. I was going to say tennis and skiing, those are two very dangerous sports.
I know, but I'm doing it very carefully.
Carefully,
Being
okay, yeah.
an orthopedic surgeon, I'm just
Yes.
doing it for fun. Yeah,
Ju- we've seen where our gym is in a shopping center, and we have a medical suites upstairs. So we have biokineticists and physiotherapists, and it's incredible to see the number of people that are coming in with injuries from racket sports such as paddle, because I think it's
yeah,
become very popular and it's so social that people tend to push themselves a little bit, and I don't think they're
yeah,
warming up and cooling down, which is
yeah.
something that would be vital to do. I think we need to, and I'd like to know sort of your thoughts on this, Doctor. Sport needs to be viewed in a way as if you're passionate about it, you have to do what's necessary to maintain your ability to do it over your lifetime. So, as you said, warming
Yes,
up and
exactly.
stretching. Yeah.
Yes, this is the key point of sports. You have to do it correctly. And I will give you a very
Mm,
funny example.
mm,
In Bulgaria, there is a conference for orthopedic surgeons, which happens annually. And as you know, most orthopedic surgeons are men.
mhm,
So there is always on day two, there is a football match between the orthopedic surgeons of the northern part of the country against the southern part. As you know, the first night of every conference, there is a cocktail,
mhm,
get together thing, so everyone gets a drink. And the next day, all these great orthopedic surgeons went on the field without warming even a little, and
oh,
everything finished with three Achilles tendon ruptures.
right.
So this is a great example of what should be done. Everything should be done properly. The most dangerous sport to me is the weekend sport, the Sunday sport.
Mm.
People who don't practice at all, and suddenly on Sundays they decide that they will do everything that they had to do for the whole week. This doesn't work this way.
Absolutely. And I think also our bodies age, but our mental state, our mind doesn't. So we still believe we're 16
Yes.
or we're 20 or we're 24. Um, and we get competitive,
Yeah,
and that's
I
exactly what
know.
happens.
I meet such patients every day. They come and they say, I used to run for
Mm,
40 kilometers a day, and now at 20, my knees start hurting. And
sure.
I cannot ask them, how old are you now? But the
Yes.
truth is that you have to correct. You
Hmm.
have to correct the loading if you want to proceed with a sport for all your life.
Right. So, Doc, how important would you feel is strength training in terms of a good quality life, the ability to play sport? What are the
Strength
important things?
training.
Yes.
It is important and
Mm,
should be done constantly, not only every now and then. So
right.
strength training up to the extent of the need of the very person who is doing it.
Right. And what would you
But
say is
it's
well,
important.
yes.
No, it's
Is
okay. It's okay.
okay. So is stretching more important than strength training as we get older? Or is it something that needs to be
I
done
think
together?
I think it needs to be done together.
Right. Okay, that's something to look at.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in we don't lose mobility as we age, we give it away. And
Yeah, and
but we give
and
up
we
on it.
lose muscle mass. And we
Yes.
lose muscle mass due to this.
Yeah. As I always say with older men, you can see if they've been exercising or not by the size of their glutes. And
Yeah,
we, no
exactly.
no glute mass. And it's one of my clients said about her husband, yes, because he scratched his whole bum away. So because he's always scratching
Oh,
his bottom.
yeah,
So
I
I think
know.
yeah. So I think so. Muscle mass, maintaining muscle mass, is a good indicator of your quality of life later.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
because I think also, I mean, it means that you can get up and be mobile and go and see your friends and go out and be active, and those human connections are
Yes,
vital to our
without
quality of life.
without taking medications.
Yes,
This is the clue. This
absolutely
is the clue
vital.
of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Doc, if can we chat sort of worst case scenario at a competition? Really, just I think for parents who are watching to put their mind at ease. If something severe happens with an athlete in the warm up area or on the platform, what is the process to deal with that?
You check, you see what the trauma is,
Mm-hmm.
you immobilize, and then the patient goes to the hospital. This is
Right.
what should be done. And everything can be done very quickly
Mm-hmm.
and without any danger for the patient, for the competitor in this way.
Right.
So that's why there is a doctor here all the
Mm-hmm.
time, because in this way, competitors feel safer, I think, and
Absolutely.
parents feel
Yes.
better.
Absolutely. So I think we can say to the public that with at the IPF events, those events that are run by the International Powerlifting Federation, you're getting the best medical treatment or potential
Yes,
medical treatment if needed that's available.
yes, it
Mm,
is secured 100% for
okay,
sure. And you have a
fantastic.
physiotherapist here and a
Mm,
chiropractor here who are available all the time. So it
okay.
makes it even better in this way.
So, and that would almost be sort of preventative maintenance before they're coming onto the platform, and they could have a discussion with the chiro
Yeah,
or the physio if there's a
yes,
problem.
yes.
Mm,
And they do it all the time. They do it
right.
all the time.
Yeah.
These two guys are really busy here.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, good. Awesome. So, Doc,
Yeah.
just I know you're under a lot of time pressure and I don't want to keep you for too long. Is there anything that you would like to talk about or share before we end?
What can I say? Don't be afraid if your kids want to get involved into powerlifting. Just explain it to them that it's not something which they shouldn't get to the gold medal necessarily. They
Mm,
can join. I was very impressed with these young people here. For example, the others lift like 110 kilograms, and someone comes and lifts 40, and he's as happy as the champions. So I think this is the clue. Let the children try to explain what the limits are, and then they will be happy. It doesn't matter how much they lift. This
Oh,
is what impressed me mostly here.
that is such a wonderful statement, and it's so true. That's it. It's because we're ultimately competing against ourselves, and it's so wonderful
Exactly.
to see.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
I always
Yeah,
try and
exactly.
I always try and tell kids, even adults that are training, and they'll say, "I'll start competing when I can win." And I said, "You're missing out on the wonderful camaraderie and the wonderful team spirit and the experience of bettering
Exactly.
yourself on the platform." Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. There was a girl last night who was so happy, and she was lifting like 4 times less than the others. She was extremely happy, and her trainer was beaming with happiness as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful way for
Yeah.
children to develop their self belief, and
Yeah, exactly. And to
I think
become competitive.
yes, to become competitive and also to choose a healthy path. I think
Exactly.
sitting on a chair in your parents' basement, playing on your PlayStation, eating chips and pizza, is far more damaging to the body than learning to lift,
Exactly.
mm,
Exactly.
and
And it
committing to a
happens
sport
all the time
all the time.
nowadays,
Yeah, this is the problem.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I watched a TED talk on one of I think he was the U.S. Army Surgeon General, and he was talking about the biggest threat to the United States Army now is the number of femoral breaks for young soldiers coming into basic training, because they're overweight, they're poorly, their nutrition has been so poor because of junk food that they're breaking their femurs, and there's a huge cost
Yeah.
to the army, and then obviously to these young soldiers who are getting so injured.
Yeah. Yeah. These are pathological fractures, which
Mm,
are very common nowadays due
yeah.
to not to overuse. They used to be
Mm,
fractures due to overuse.
yes.
Now they're fractures due to not use,
Use. Okay. So
non-use.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sure, and I think that's the part with the body, right? If you don't use it, you can lose it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic. Doc, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting to you. I really appreciate your time. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. And perhaps we could chat at the end of the competition. I'd like to get sort of some more of your thoughts once you've had the chance to see the whole competition.
Tomorrow I'm leaving, so for me,
Okay.
more or less, this is the
It's
end of the
over. Okay.
for this competition.
For this
Maybe some other
competition.
competition
Okay,
later.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll stay in
Okay.
touch, and I would love to get your feedback on other competitions. What you shared is so valuable, and I can't wait for parents to see it and for young athletes to see it, just to understand the value of this. We have a young man in our gym who has such incredible courage. He's so gentle and kind, but he's very, very heavy. He's got two big parents. He's got a big frame, and he was getting injured playing rugby at school, and he's now found
Right.
powerlifting, and we can manage this, manage it, and he's
Yeah.
absolutely in love with it, and he wants to become a world champion. So it's a fabulous
Exactly.
sport. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Okay.
Doc,
So I hope to talk to you soon as well, and I wish
likewise.
you a wonderful day.
Thank you, and you
Okay.
too, Doctor.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
You
Thank you.
too. Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.